Like to introduce.
Okay, let's go.
Sports online radio station.
WNB1 Radio
Broadcasting live. 24/7. All music genres.
WNB1 Radio.
Your urban music link.
Welcome to WMB1 Radio and Straight to the Point Sports, where we're here in our beautiful studio in downtown New Bedford. And I am joined by one regular, Steve Lopes, and a fill-in, Charlie Perry.
Derek's on probation.
Derek is he's off doing things, but he'll be back sooner or later. He's lucky that we chose not to talk about his team this week
Without him being able to respond.
Yeah, without him, he'd be like, "Come on, guys!" But what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about NFL season is right around the corner, so we need to talk about the NFL. With that being said, we're gonna do a breakdown weekly of each conference. This week we are going to dive into the West, AFC West and the NFC West. So we'll give our opinions on what we think is going to go on, and just give a preview as to what's going on. Also, we'll talk about big news in NFL injuries already. We'll talk about that.
8 of them already.
We'll talk about that. It happens every year. It's unfortunate, but it happens every year. We'll talk about that and how it may impact the teams in which they're playing for, how it may impact them greatly. Also, the Olympics are over. But there was a lot of things happened in the since we were last here in that final 3 to 4 days. So we'll recap the Olympic finale, which obviously was great basketball. And by chance, it was men's and women's. The U.S. and France, both games went right to the end. We'll talk about that. As well as the upcoming fight, UFC 305, Duplessis and Israel Adesanya. It'll be interesting because they've got a common person in which they fought. Both guys fought last year, and one guy lost and the other guy won. There's a link to them, and we'll talk about that. As always, if you haven't done so already, please download the WMB1 Radio app. It can be found on whatever Play Store you have, whether it's Apple or Android, or you can catch us on WMB1.com, either or. But we much prefer that you download our app, right? Because you can get anything from there. You can listen, take us on the go, follow us on social media. Everything has everything on there.
And check out the website too.
That's right, WMB1.com.
Everything
and also. Like I said, WMB1.com. You can catch everything on there, as well as our events. That's what I meant to say. Our events, our live events that are happening. So the phone lines are open. You can hit us up at 508. 508. I was getting ready to give my phone number. 774-425-2631. All right. You can call in at any time and put your 2 cents in, because that's what we like to see. We like to see participation. Yeah. All right. We'll start. We're gonna start off with which conference you want to start off? I'll take.
Charlie's an AFC guy. Let's start off
with the
AFC guy we got.
We'll start off with the AFC.
Wait a minute, you haven't traded him in like you did the Red Sox, eh?
No.
Okay, because you know how Charlie is, man. You're good with him one day.
That's one team. Well, there's 2 teams, Celtics and the Patriots. I already been through 2-14, so you know what? It doesn't get any worse than that.
Yes. So what we'll do is we'll talk about the AFC West predictions. Fool, what's up? Fool's up there. He's saying he's
West
in
Virginia.
West Virginia.
Tell Randy Moss and White Chocolate I said what's up.
We're going to talk about the Olympics. Yes, we are. not so much about the breakdance. No, sorry about that.
Or the urban X's.
Yeah, so we'll talk about the AFC West.
Prohibitive favorite.
So, I mean, some things stay the same for the duration as long as the quarterback's there.
And
Pat
healthy.
Mahomes. Pat Mahomes has won every year that he's been there, and I wouldn't expect anything less. You know, I hate to let the cat out the bag, but it is what it is. The AFC West. He is the type of aura which he's putting out is very Tom Brady-esque.
How well he adapts, because when he had Tyreek Hill there, we knew he had him and Kelsey and they had the long ball. And then they said, oh, without him, everybody's going to double team Kelsey.
Yeah.
One, they try to double team Kelsey, he still gets open, but then he uses the intermediate passes in the backside of the backfield. He just adjusted, but was just as great as the long game and the short game. That's true greatness to me.
Sure is.
And the coaching, impeccable.
Andy Reid's always been good. You know.
And they improved that defense.
Yeah.
Well, if we look at it, right, it's always the offense who is the catalyst.
Yeah.
And it slowly has been tweaked over the last 2 years.
No, some money opened up with that Tyreek Hill situation.
Now the defense is young. They've got a lot of young players.
Good starters, right?
Yes.
Instant impact.
And it's the defense that has been the catalyst for them, because they had before it was like, okay, you know, if you can get into a shootout with Pat Mahomes, you might have a chance.
And that's what Burrow and Allen always stake their claim on.
And it's not the case no more.
Now you got to work for it.
You got to, you're not just going to get the ball and, drive. They have a very formidable defense now. And it looks as if, if the offense can just, I'm not going to say that they're a bad offense. They score when they need to score. But if they can pick it up, if they can pick it up to the level where they were at 2 years ago.
Well, think about the additions they made to that offense this year.
Well, one of them's already hurt.
Yes. But it's not as bad as the news we first saw.
No.
Yeah. He's going to probably not make opening day, but he might be back by week 3 or 4. I think it's a 4-week injury. Was it his shoulder?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood Brown, who they say they haven't had speed like that in a while. And then they draft the #1 pick, who had all the speed records in the 50-yard dash and everything, the fastest dude in college last year.
How is it that you let one fast guy go and then you get the fastest guy in the draft?
Mm-hmm. Because they know that works.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a specific thing that they look at.
But does he have hands like Tyreek Hill? Because his hands were, and his separation, I think because Tyreek Hill's built more strongly. Like he's shorter. Yeah, but Xavier Worthy is a little bit more frailly built. He's not skinny, but he's not muscular like Tyreek Hill. So he might not break that original tackle and be as hot. When Tyreek Hill gets full speed going ahead, and then you can't one-arm tackle him, and you can't take an angle on him. We've seen what happens on that.
That's all he needs. Less than 13 seconds, right?
Yeah. No, I'll never forget that playoff game. I counted them out, and that with Kelsey and Hill, how long was that drive? What, 17? 13 seconds. Yeah. They threw 2 passes and they were in field goal range.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable.
So, I look at it this way. I know that Pat Mahomes has the ability to spread the ball around to anyone, but when you play prevent defense, you're going to prevent yourself from winning.
I'm a firm believer in that.
You
just play with what got you there, man.
You can't.
Now you're playing scared.
You can't play, I'm going to give them this. Because all it takes, as we witness, is one broken tackle or one
and
missed
with that type of speed,
tackle. And now you're right there. Now you're right there. Listen, I'd rather die slowly than die in 1 or 2 plays.
Exactly.
And I don't know. I for the life of me, I see all teams do this.
Yeah,
we're going to play
every game. Right?
We're going to play prevent defense. We're going to play a zone, and we're going to play 12 yards off of guys. We're going to keep them in front of us. And then before you know it, they're in scoring range. Field goal range is like a couple of plays, and before you know it, they're within the 20, inside the 20. I don't get it, but teams consistently do it. So yeah, I mean, what is it? He's 7 for 7 now, I believe.
Who?
Pat Mahomes.
Get into the AFC Championship?
No, for the division.
Yeah.
7
Oh.
years. 7
Yeah, because he
years.
sat his first
7
year.
years. 7 AFC West.
He's had 7 years already. I still feel like he's a young
It
guy.
says here in my notes, the Chiefs have won 8 consecutive AFC West titles from 2016 to
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I can't believe he's been there 8
Yes.
years.
So, no, he hasn't been there 8 years. He's been there 7 years.
They won with Alex.
They won with Alex Smith.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. They won with him, and then they had the transition year, and that was it. But yeah, I mean, he's just like I said, he's got that Tom Brady-esque aura to him already. We know in Super Bowls, and then without the Super Bowls, you can look to the division champs. It's just become a yearly thing. Like, yeah, okay, we're gonna hang the division banner up. Nobody else got a chance in hell.
Sure.
And okay, stop us from going to the AFC Championship game because we've been there every year that he started. So it's pretty wild.
No, there's one quarterback when healthy that has a winning record against him. So if he stays healthy this year, I'd like to see what happens with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
But
The thing is that you would think that division, they get reminders all the time being in that division that Mahomes is that quarterback.
So
that we have to.
what do you need to do to slow him down?
Exactly.
You gotta have an edge
right
rusher.
They're all in decline. I think the Chargers are definitely not going to be that team. Raiders, I think, kind of,
But the Raiders play them tough. You know
Yeah.
why? They got edge rushers.
And then
When you got Max Crosby, and then they got who else on the other side that they got last year? But they got two good pass rushers, so they force quicker decisions from Mahomes, which doesn't guarantee success, but it increases your odds.
Yeah, I just see all the looking at the division and all my notes that the Raiders picked up Minshew, who's going to manage the game.
He's going to battle McConnell first to see if he who wins that spot.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the year, McConnell was playing good. Devontae Adams was happy with where McConnell was, but Minshew's going to make sure that if he wins it, he's going to earn it because Minshew's capable.
Yeah.
He did a great job last year with Indianapolis, and he was somewhere else the year before, Jacksonville the year before that with Trevor Lawrence. He's a decent quarterback. You can't lay down against him.
He's gonna end up being like that, like Fitzpatrick, right? He's gonna go from team to team.
Yeah, well, he was a gunslinger. Yeah,
he's gonna keep in contracts.
He's serviceable.
And
so somebody will always have a need for him. But the other thing I think people underestimate, there's two things with Kansas City before we sign off on them. One, and rightfully so, we give Mahomes all the credit in the world. But you added more weapons than he had last year. What about the emergence of that running game last year with a 4th-round running back?
Yes, Pacheco and
Pacheco, now Clyde Edwards-Helaire behind him, but he's healthy this year.
Yes.
So they ran the ball with him. He got all the tough yards. He's bigger than I thought. And then we underestimate, because he's such a great passer, his ability to scramble. And he never takes hits. He gets out of bounds. He gets down. He takes what they're going to give him, and he doesn't try to get more. So he avoids the big hits a lot. Yeah. But he always kills you because you don't think he's going to run. And you apply pressure, and he just outruns that defensive end to the sideline for 7-8 yards. But on defense, they lost a major cornerback. Sneed, is his last name Sneed?
Yeah, Sneed.
Javarius Sneed?
Yeah.
He was huge. Him and Trent McDuffie shut down both sides. Now it's just McDuffie because they couldn't sign Jones and Sneed. So they let Sneed go. So there's going to be a little bit of a weakness in that secondary. So let's see who steps up there. But still far and away the best team in that division.
Yeah. Go ahead, Charlie.
So the plus with that team is their defensive, their front.
They put so much pressure.
Pressure is, it's that 3 second, you got to get that ball out of there. And if you don't,
and they drafted well on that side of the ball too. Because who's the white pass rusher they got from Purdue? They always said his arm, those measurables. His arms are too short. He had a great rookie year. I just can't remember his name, but he's from Purdue.
Yeah.
So Chris Jones is Chris Jones, but then you got that dude out. McDuffie's been a lifesaver. Janarius Sneed, I don't know where he came from, but the last 2 years he's been incredible. And that money they saved with Tyreek Hill, they've invested it well on defense, and then they drafted well, on both their wide receivers and their defense.
It's
What a
amazing how they're
turnaround.
saying how Mahomes' contract is a bargain now.
Yeah, when he got 450 million or something for 10 years.
But this is the thing. We witnessed it before. And every year, I mean, the quarterback, carousel of making money. Now, just forecast, and next year you've got two quarterbacks that are going to break the bank. This one's going to be Dak Prescott, and the other one's going to be Mr. Irrelevant. Both of those guys.
Brock Purdy.
Both of those guys are going to be getting between at least $57 to $60 million.
Yep.
It's a done deal.
Because if I'm both of them, I want to wait till next year because you saw what happened with the TV money this year.
Yeah.
The ratings keep going up, the money keeps going up.
And this is they might not be the best quarterbacks, but it's the best quarterbacks. Somebody's going to value
somebody
them
over
like a best quarterback. And that's how it goes. Everybody's, he hasn't done anything, or he hasn't done that, or whatever. Guess what? There's always going to be somebody that's willing to push that button to pay them more. And unfortunately for somebody like Pat Mahomes,
who doesn't worry about that stuff. He knows he's going to get taken care of, but he lets his play do the talking. Where
and it was similar to Tom Brady, years and years and years.
Except Tom wasn't. I mean, Mahomes isn't married to a supermodel who can afford to leave money on the table.
Yeah. Well, I people say that, but Tom Brady, it's his endorsements.
Yeah, he was making a lot of outside money.
And he wanted to win more than he wanted. He can live off the money they were paying him.
Yeah.
He wanted to win more, and that's why he did. With Patrick Mahomes is going to do the same thing.
Yeah. He had a ton of money that
Very
he was
likable
making outside of the game, and he knew that. Listen, if I keep winning, I'm going to keep getting endorsements.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep pushing my value up. So what I feel, I might not be paid in the top 5 quarterback, but you know what? I keep winning Super Bowls. My overall value is.
And he's helping keeping his team together because if he would have renegotiated, Chris Jones would have been gone with Janarius Smith.
Yeah.
And then in 2 years, I think Trent McDuffie's rookie contract. There's always somebody that's going to get paid coming up around the corner, and you can't pay everybody.
No.
That's what I see happening in Dallas. Not to get off top, when so many young people emerge young. When they get to the bargaining table now, they want their money, but sometimes 3 and 4 people come up in the same year. Just makes it hard. But
I can't blame though, like these free agents, because
of the owners making billions.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this last week. Football is it's a very violent sport, and the average shelf life for an NFL player is 3 to 4 years, and that's contract. Yeah. Once you get into that 4th year, and the 5th year is you're vested. You're vested after the 5th year, I believe, or at the 5th year you're vested. So now you're going to get you're going to get a retirement and all that stuff. But it's big to hit that first contract because now you're guaranteed that signing bonus money. It's all up front, and that's what guys play for.
What a feeling! Wake up the next morning saying, "I got 150 million guaranteed money in the bank."
Yeah. Now you're set.
And I still got a salary.
So tomorrow, if you go out and you shred your leg up, you know what? You've got that money.
Kirk Cousins and Watson got theirs 100% guaranteed.
Yeah. You've got that money. Just think about somebody like a guy like an Alex Smith, right? He was having
resurgent.
He was having a good year, and then all of a sudden, you rip your leg up, and he had over 20-something surgeries, and never.
They thought he might not walk again.
Yeah.
Just to see him make it back to play again, no matter what level he played at, I was so happy. But I was like, don't challenge your blessings. You're able to walk again. You've made money. Me personally, I wouldn't have played no more. But I understand the pride. But he was risking maybe not being able to walk again if he would have hurt that leg again.
And his kids are young.
Yeah, very young.
I would have been like, I got enough to live on. But so we all agree that KC is going to the runaway division. But who do you guys see a second?
So I can never really roll with the Raiders. Sorry,
They'll be improved, but they won't be.
Yeah, no.
A challenge.
I think the Chargers will probably be the number 2 team.
Depending on Herbert's.
Yeah. I just think.
Injury
I think. You just think about how many close games they lost the last 2 years because of the knucklehead coach that they had, the knucklehead decisions that he made. I don't think you're going to get those decisions being made with Harbaugh.
Well, he's got a great defense, and he's a great defensive mind already.
Exactly.
He's one of the few coaches that's great on offense and defense.
Yes.
He wants to play smash mouth.
Yes.
So losing Herbert might be able to come back a little quicker because he's going to hand off left, hand off right. You see what they did with their draft. Another big offensive stud. They let their 2 best wide receivers go.
Kenyon Allen?
Yep.
Yeah, but for the 3rd year in a row, they drafted the best offensive line. They got an offensive line that's going to be there forever. They're set up for the run. When you got a great defense behind you, it reminds me of the Steelers of the olden days.
Yeah.
Because they'll run, eat up top. That's clock time management, and then trying to come back against them. Good luck, Bosa. I forgot the safety's name. That's excellent for them. And then they got Khalil Mack. But they got 4 really top defensive players on their team, and they're going to be well coached. If they stay healthy, the defense can keep them close. You're not going to blow them out against that defense, and then the offense is running the ball. And if they can pick up a few first downs, you're just not going to get the opportunities to score a lot against them. But if Herbert comes back healthy and the rookie works out pretty good with them, their passing game comes along. Their passing game just has to be adequate. We know Herbert can throw the ball.
Who is it? Joe Alt.
Joe Alt from Notre Dame, 6'8".
Yeah.
He can run.
So for me, I just look at it this way. I think just by having the coaching pedigree of a Harbaugh, I think they're going to win 2 to 3 games just off his coaching pedigree.
Agreed.
because the knucklehead that they had the last 2 years, they set records 2 years ago by losing 1-score games. Last year they lost a ton more. It just goes on and on. So I think just with the right coaching decisions, with that Harbaugh is going to bring, he knows.
How many games did that coach blow, including the playoff one?
Jesus.
One to go to the playoff.
Oh my God!
He blew like 3 games. That's a big difference in seedings.
Yeah.
You might have had a home game instead of an away. Actually, they didn't even get in the playoffs because of that.
No, they didn't.
I think with most of their games, the only game you couldn't say anything like that was when the Raiders blew them out.
Well, that happens.
All the other games were close. They were real close, only because it.
So
I had quite a few of those players on my fantasy.
But let's just talk about it, right? So, Staley, that was his name, right?
The coach.
The coach, yeah,
Yep.
Staley.
Yeah.
He
Supposed
should have
to be
been
an offensive guru.
He should have been let go the first year, and then they hung on to him.
That was a money decision because they guaranteed him like 5 years.
Yeah.
And to fire somebody after 1 year and that coach's money is guaranteed.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
So now you're paying 2 coaches. You got to go out and get a new one.
But you know what? It didn't get any better because he made the same mistakes that he made from the previous year.
Yeah.
He made bad calls towards the end of games, and he caused them to lose in the same manner.
Do you think it was more his lack of coaching experience or his ego?
Yeah, I think.
I thought it was his ego.
I thought it was both.
Like, he just thought he was smarter than everybody, and I can do this.
Ego, and lack of coaching experience. Because
wasn't he from the Rams tree?
He came from great coaching pedigree, but he's a good Robin, but not Batman.
And we go back to that. We go back to that, thing of searching for that next great guy. Everybody wants to search for the next McVay and what's the other one there with the glasses from the Dolphins?
Daniel.
Everybody wants to search for those guys. You know what? Sometimes let water the tree and let these guys get their wings, and then pluck them. Yeah. These guys, one great year, you want to pull them.
Which is why I like what they did with the Patriots.
Yeah.
When he was ready to leave, when Mayo was ready to leave, they made him the assistant head coach or something like that. But so we knew that whenever Belichick left, whether it was last year or 2 years from now, he had an agreement in place. But he got to be side by side, like part of the decision making. He got groomed well. But
and that's the one thing I like about Kraft is that that was a relationship that had
Yeah,
built
developed
over the years.
from player to the coach to up the ranks.
Stood loyal to. I hate that they interview him. I made a comment yesterday. Time to interview him, he sounds drunk. I'm getting sick of that, you know. It's just not good, man.
Well, he's trying to hold on to a lot of the Belichick, keep things close to the heart.
Yeah.
But I think that's not his natural personality. So I think he's like stopping and trying to think about things before he says them. Like, I don't want to let too much out the bag because they keep asking him about Matthew Judon, and he doesn't really want to talk to about it that much. He said they stay private.
It's personal. It's
Yeah.
You know, it's between them what happened. No coach. I don't care whatever sport. If you have a disagreement where it's a fallout, it turns into an argument where the cameras can pick it up. That stays between you guys.
Yeah.
That's number one. You stop it right there. It's family in house. It stays there. It doesn't go outside.
True.
Because when you let it go outside, now you let people dictate and create the narrative.
Yep.
That's what happened with Mac.
And when they don't know the whole truth, they're gonna add
create
something
the
that they
narrative.
don't know.
And now you got this wannabe sports writer who thinks that he's a big I want
First one to break the
myself.
story.
And now he prints something that's untrue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't give them anything, they won't get anything. You know what I'm saying?
True.
But as soon as you come out, you say something, you give them a snippet. That's all they need is a snippet. And before you know it, there's a narrative that's being pushed that isn't correct. But so for me, I think a team that's going to, because I don't have any confidence in the Raiders, nor the Broncos.
I think the Broncos are going to do a little bit better than last year because they don't have the circus going on in camp. Because right from the beginning, Russell Wilson and the coach were butting heads. Because remember when Coach said, he went to ownership and said, I have total control. Russell Wilson's not going to come in. Russell Wilson was acting like a diva in Seattle before he left. And I'm in charge. And Russell Wilson quietly fought him. He didn't fight him in public, but we knew in practice and in meetings, they were butting heads.
Come to find out, we did. I mean, there was
a promise broken.
There was underlying circumstances. I think he pushed him too because of the fact that
the incentives.
The incentives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The incentives. He was getting big money to play a certain amount of games. And had he given him any reason, even though he belittled him publicly, I don't think that should have been, it should have been handled differently.
He was trying to instigate.
He was trying
to blow that clause.
Move him out. And Russell Wilson was smart enough to know, listen, you're not gonna play with my money.
Yeah.
You're not gonna play with my money. But I don't have any confidence in Denver. I think that you're going from who's going to be the quarterback?
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Well, he's going to win. He's looking decent. He had a really good
Yeah,
game. All the rookies had a good game, but I was surprised because Bo Nix was the least confident I was in all the quarterbacks that were out there.
So the thing with
Thought
me
he was a system quarterback.
The thing with me is I just think that it's too much, too many moving parts.
And they lost Bradley Chubb because
Yeah.
he left. Their defense was pretty stout. They're decent,
The defense was
and they almost lost their cornerback. They shut down the cornerback that you guys were going to get in the draft, and ended up with Mike Kapasas as a consolation.
yeah. But I don't know. I don't have much confidence in either one of those teams. Yeah, Patrick State. I don't have much confidence in either one of those teams.
Well, you think one will be better than the other? Do you think the Chargers are going to be better than both of them?
Yes, I think the
You
Chargers
feel
will
the
be
same
better.
way?
I think the Chargers will be better.
I get I thought Denver and the Raiders would kind of fight for that second spot.
Over the Chargers?
Yeah, I just saying, maybe it's because of my lack of not knowing the offense of the Chargers, and that's where I'm down on them.
Great offensive line, great quarterback.
And
And
when
great
I knew the
defense.
guys from last year, and I said that was a plus, and now they're gone. So is there going to be that same kind of play again? Are they going to still put up those same numbers as Eckler and Allen and Williams? Williams was hurt most of the year, but
And what's his name got hurt a lot too. Last year he wasn't hurt as much.
Yeah.
The dude that went to Chicago was Keenan Allen.
the wide receiver. Yeah, both the wide receivers.
Yeah, they always get hurt, and they play well when they're available, but they're so injury prone.
They finally gave up on him.
Too much money to take that type of risk.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, it's not like these guys are in their 4th and 5th year.
No.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen's a lot older than Mike Williams, but now
Yeah.
Mike Williams is like a 7-year vet.
Yeah.
Allen's like a 10 or 11-year vet.
Yeah. These guys are, the money that in which they're looking for, and what they put out when they were on the field, or lack thereof, because of the injuries, it just didn't match up. And how long are you going to keep eating that? Like, okay, he's hurt. He's hurt again for 4 games. He's out for the season. He's,
It's
how
still
long
business.
how long are you going to keep eating that? Yeah, you could go to another team and things can change for you, but for being on that team for 5-6 years and it being Groundhog Day every season, and them guys
You're
come
just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
Just you're hoping it happens.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, you're hoping it happens later in the year so you get some continuity. But then you're not around for the playoffs.
Yeah.
But Charlie, I'm going to give you a name since you didn't remember some of the weapons. They did get rid of their wide receivers, but they drafted a wide receiver, a white dude named Lad McConkey, who's from Georgia.
Yeah. That's
Very good. He's like a Wes Welker type.
So wait a second. You said McConkey?
Yeah.
Is he Phil McConkey's? Any relation to Phil McConkey?
Oh, that's the Giants player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is any relation?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not a very common name.
No. I wonder.
But he's gonna be Wes Welker-esque.
Yeah.
Same mold, fast, but he's a little bit bigger than Wes Welker was. Wes Welker was only like 5'8". Speed, ran great patterns. That's the same mold they got right there. So they got their slot guy, right? We know they're gonna run a lot. They brought Hunter Henry back from the Patriots. He was familiar with their offense, and they also brought back, I think, Gerald Everett. They got 2 tight ends because Hunter Henry's not the tight end he used to be before he went to New England. But they're gonna run. But then you're gonna have a guy like McConkey come over the middle, and that he's capable of making big plays. Next year, watch them draft a bigger wide receiver that'll be their main guy, and then they'll be able to pass and run. So that's where they're headed. But just remember that name because I think the Chargers are going to be a sleeper, and it's all going to be because, well, one, they're going to stay healthy, but like Brian mentioned, Harbaugh on both sides of the coaching, the offense and defense, is going to make a huge imprint.
Yeah, I like I said, I just in with the coaching pedigree that he has, I think he'll make much better decisions, and in those close games, he'll be able to coach, them to victory. Unlike,
Did he bring his staff?
No, because his main guy is the new coach of Michigan.
Yeah.
He couldn't take the Michigan staff with him. He got all new, because that's a college staff.
Yeah.
He hired all NFL people to be his assistants, his coordinators. The Michigan staff stayed because they're under that controversy.
So I could almost guarantee that he's pulled a lot of his previous staff from when he was with the 49ers. When he was last, in NFL. It's really simple. You say, hey, listen, I'm coming back, come with me, come with me. You pull them away. As long as these guys aren't holding head positions. Yeah. But if they're assistant, you can pull them away easily. A lot of these guys don't have, they're not guaranteed contracts. So you can pull away from them either. Like I said, if you're a head assistant, obviously defensive coordinator, offensive coordinators, those are the most valued positions. But a lot of they're just assistants and stuff. You can pull those. You can quickly put together a staff. And I guarantee that's what he probably did.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go 10-7 with the possibility of maybe going 11-6 if a couple of breaks. If they stay healthy, if Herbert comes back and he's Justin Herbert and they stay healthy, I think they have the pieces to get to an 11-win season. But I'm going to predict right now that they finish in second at around 10-7, 9-8. But I give them the benefit of the doubt of getting to 10-7. It's just who are going to be the bottom dwellers? Is Denver going to be better than the Raiders, or is the Raiders going to be better than Denver?
Actually,
I would have, if you made me pick between the two, I would probably have to say that the Raiders would probably be better. I just don't like the transition from, with a rookie quarterback. It's going to be a learning curve.
And they lost one of their wide receivers, I think, in free agency.
Who's that?
Judy. Yeah, Judy went to
Cleveland.
Is it Cleveland?
Yeah.
Why did I think the Titans? Yeah, all right.
Cleveland.
Yeah, I just think.
Wow, him and Amari Cooper.
I just think that with the having a new quarterback, you're gonna go through you're gonna take your look.
But another thing that's gonna be positive for them. One, they got rid of the circus act over there because there's no more drama. But what was their running back's name? Javonte Williams, the kid from North Carolina.
Williams.
Javonte Williams was having a great year. He got hurt, and whenever you lose your starting running back, they didn't have nobody else to fill in. So now you had to have Russell Wilson throw the ball. He's a sitting duck. The offensive line was shoddy. He's back there, help, running for his life. There was no mixing it up. You couldn't run the ball.
So what I'm eager to see is, obviously you've got a rookie quarterback. I want to see how Sean Payton manages.
He's bragging about him, but his ass is on the line because that was his pick.
That's right.
He fought for
I want to see how he manages this quarterback. As I said, rookie quarterbacks, there's a learning curve.
I don't think he's going to ask him to do a whole lot. If Javonte Williams can run mostly,
what you try to do is you try to simplify the offense. Yep. You try to break it down to, okay, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4 reads, it's 1, 2, and maybe 3. Looking to get rid of the ball quick. I guarantee you, he's going to try to use the same style that he used when he was in New Orleans.
Okay, I was waiting to tie a point together.
I guarantee
because Drew Brees was always the highest rated for accuracy in the league, and he didn't have to throw the ball deep all the time.
Got rid of the ball so quick.
Mike Thomas catch the ball 10 yards out, gone.
100, right? Every year, 100 plus.
Yep.
100 plus. 100 plus. 100 plus.
So who was the highest rated in the same category in college last year? Bo Nix.
Yeah.
So he copied that same formula. He got him a Drew Brees-esque.
It took 5 years to do that.
Right. But 5 years in college. But he's got the experience.
Yeah.
But he plays the same type of style that was the most successful for this coach.
Yeah.
So he's going to put him in the same position, and he's happy because he wanted somebody to copy that same system he had in the Saints. Yeah. If that running game comes along, and they still got 2 good wide receivers left. They lost Judy, but Judy hasn't done nothing the last 2 years. Cortland Sutton was their number 1 wide receiver, and they got another one. But they both had better years than Judy. And then I think, they gave up their nice tight end in that Russell Wilson trade. He went over to Seattle. And then they lost a big piece on defense. So, but I think the accuracy. And Sean Payton's going to work wonders with it. Just don't ask him to do too much. Don't ask him to come in and throw the ball downfield and make 2 or 3 reads on a play. He's going to have a lot of short dink and dunk, and he's going to get his confidence. That's all he did at Oregon. That's why everybody said, he had 71% completion. Yeah, but he wasn't throwing
4 yards, 5 yards.
Yeah, everything was short, but a 5-yard catch, a 7-yard catch, first down.
So you think about it, right? You think about when he was. Sean Payton was in New Orleans,
but he also had a pass catching back with Kamara.
Yes, and it like I said, it worked out really well. So I'm interested to see if he does that. But yeah, it's hold on, we got a call. WMB1 Radio.
Brian, I was just calling you right.
Well, no, it's too late now. You're on WMB1 Radio.
Yeah.
You're on live. So is there something that you wanted to talk about?
Who we got?
It's Mr. Green. It's Mr. Green.
Rick!
Yeah, come on.
We're talking about the AFC West, man. How do you see that division shaking out? 4 teams, how you rank them?
No comment.
Yeah,
take the easy one, Kansas City. That's
can't.
right. He's affiliated.
Yes, he can.
We don't want no heat on you.
CBA stuff.
Yes. What we'll say is good luck with and moving forward with the season, and hopefully it's a very productive season for you. That's where we'll leave it at.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right,
Rick.
Proud of you, man.
All right, I'm going.
Take it easy.
I forgot all about that.
If I had to choose, so we can move on. If I had to choose, I would probably say that I would have a little more confidence in the Raiders.
Why?
Because of that quarterback situation.
But the Raiders have two quarterbacks that haven't decided who's gonna.
True, but I
they
just,
do have Devontae Adams. They did draft another good tight end, Brock Bowers.
So my thing is, I could, if I had to pick, I could honestly say that I would have a little more trusting in the Raiders defense.
Oh, they got a lot of work to do.
Well, this is the thing. I am not confident with a rookie quarterback. They've got too many moving parts in Denver. I don't feel, there's something about that. I don't feel comfortable. I don't know. It's just a feeling. It's just one of those things that you look at.
I got a question for both you guys, since Brian's just mentioning, the quarterback situation in Denver. The quarterback situation is going to be unsettled, but I think either one will be capable. Who's running the ball for the Raiders this year? Because Josh Jacobs is gone. Can you name their starting running back?
White.
Who?
So White.
Zaire?
What? I think
Small dude.
Yeah.
I don't see him taking the pounding of being an everyday back. He has the capability. I think they brought in a veteran. I just can't remember who it is. That's a little bit bigger. If they can't run the back and they don't know who's going to be the quarterback, Devontae Adams is going to be frustrated again on offense.
So my thing is, if he's small,
Zaire White is explosive, but I don't see him enduring the punishment of trying to be an every down back.
If he's small, then you make him. You play to his strengths. You pitch the ball. I would definitely not try to run him a lot.
No, between the tackles, yeah. Somebody's got to be.
I do. Quick pitches. Screen passes until proven otherwise. Because let's just face it. You're small and you can't run in between the tackles.
Did you find your other running back?
I'm trying to look.
Oh, but the interesting thing with the Raiders that I didn't like, but you can't pass on that talent, was when they drafted Brock Bowers. Because last year, their number one pick was the big tight end from Notre Dame. Yeah. So 2 years in a row, they took a tight end. Unless they develop some type of Michael Mayer. So unless they develop some type of, similar to New England did with Gronk and Hernandez, effective two tight end offense, that could really help it out because the tight ends are usually the short to intermediate passing game. So quick decisions. Mayer's huge. Brock Bowers is like a wide receiver at tight end, and you got Devontae Adams on the outside. But somebody's got to keep him honest at running back, and then somebody's got to win that quarterback. I like McConnell starting off because I thought he built up a relationship with Adams toward the end of the year, and then they got old friend from New England at the other wide receiver. He had a good year last year, Jacoby Myers. Yeah. So their wide receivers are good. Their tight ends are good. They have to solidify the spot. Somebody has to become the leader at quarterback. If you got two,
so they got what's his name, Christian Wilkins.
Yeah,
that's who they got
on defense.
Yes,
yeah, that's one guy.
No, I know.
He can't run the ball yet.
No. I'm talking. I knew there was something that I liked about it.
Yeah, their defense improved. He got a ton of money though.
Oh yeah,
but he's good. But I still want to know who's going to win the quarterback spot and who's going to run the ball.
I think you'll see
before I can see them surpassing anybody.
You'll see Minshew madness going on.
White's not that. He's 6 feet, 215.
He's 6 feet. I think he was more like 5'10".
Oh, no, that's about average size, 215.
My boy Eric Dixon was 6'2".
Once you get over the 220, then you
just to take that pound. He must have put on some weight this year because I guarantee he was like 205 last year or something like that. But he was dinged up a lot last year. That's what stopped his progress. Like, he'd build up some momentum, he'd get nicked up, and then he was off. But I also like the motivation that the new coach has because he took that same team, similar to 2 years ago when the other guy, just the same personnel there, but the other guy who they let go, I was so upset. He did a phenomenal job with them. The special teams coach, and nobody else even gave him a chance yet. And he was a great motivator. I would want to see more of him somewhere else, like making the offensive coordinator do. He was a special teams coach, and he ascended to the players loved him. When you got the players like that, they'll do anything for you.
Yeah.
And the head coach they got now is the same
Antonio
way.
Pierce, yeah. He had the
That's
same
a big
fire.
difference,
He
the
had
culture.
He had the same fire when he played for the Giants. I mean,
Yeah.
he just was one of those guys that was, in your face, and that's the type of coaching that he's going to bring, with them. And what was he, 5-4? I know he was
Which
500.
Yeah, he,
Antonio
above
Pierce or
500.
the other guy?
Antonio Pierce. I want to say he was 5-4.
He was a lot better than where they
4
were.
or 5 in a row, or something
Yes.
like
With
that.
Charlie's old friend, that coach.
he was. I want to say that he was 5. I know he was above 500. So I want to say it was 5-4. He took over a little before midseason. So that would be 9 games. Yes, 17. Yeah. I want to say he was 5-4. But I that's a good point, because 2 years ago they were in the same predicament, and didn't they go to the playoffs?
Or they finished 1 game shy, but they were right on that brink. They might have gone and lost in the first
Yes,
round,
they
or they
did.
finished 1 game short.
They
But it was
did.
a miraculous turnaround
And
with the same personnel that the other coach had
and
rooted.
they didn't even bat at him again. I don't know what happened or what transpired. But I mean,
I would at least kept them
let's-
well. Staffs want their own staff too.
Let's face it. The Raiders have been a dumpster fire for a long time, and they thought by hiring Gruden that he would change things around, and he only poured gasoline on the fire.
And then Charlie's uncle that took over, the expatriate, second time he failed. But
Yeah,
he'll get a third opportunity
Yeah.
before a new guy gets.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. The guy in Miami, all these new coaches, you give them a chance. The 2 coordinators from Philly.
Yeah.
Sean Steichen went to the Colts. Look what the Colts are doing. Some of these young guys deserve opportunities, and I feel that way about a lot of our black coaches getting passed over. If we fail once, we don't get those opportunities as quick. It takes forever. It's almost like you got to climb back up the ranks. But they'll recycle the old white coaches that have been there for a while. They'll keep giving those guys opportunities.
It's a fraternity.
Same
Yeah.
story.
Fraternity.
Yeah.
And they'll just keep going on and keep.
Frankie Lobo, what's up? Good. What's good, my brother?
It's like they didn't want JC in Carolina,
All right, we'll move on over to the NFC West.
So just before we finalize it, it's Kansas City Chargers, and then you're saying the Raiders over the Broncos.
Raiders.
I'm saying the Broncos then the Raiders.
Mine's the reverse. Where he's saying the Chargers, I'm saying Denver.
Ooh, so you got Denver moving up. He has them in last, and you got them moving up to second.
Yeah.
I just think it's Kansas City's division no matter what, but I think the Chargers will get second.
The thing with me is I'm a Sean Payton guy, so I kind of expect him to do.
They'll be better.
And,
I think them and the Raiders won't be doormats.
And
If you don't come to play, they can beat you.
he got rid of all that leftover stuff that was behind, and he's starting.
Russell
over.
Wilson and Jerry
The only
Jeudy, 2
downfall
headaches.
is like Brian said about the rookie quarterback, So
Yeah,
I think he'll navigate his situation.
It's going to be tough because, I mean, when you look at that division, obviously we know that KC is going to be the ones, barring any serious injuries to Mahomes and maybe Kelsey or whatever the case may be. They're going to take it, but I don't know. I can't. It's just, you ever get one of those feelings where you can't get that, and that's what that's the feeling that I'm getting from Denver.
No confidence in
I
what they present.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I applaud them for from getting beat to shreds. Getting how many points dropped on them by Miami, and then coming back and showing
Some hot,
listen,
dry.
we got, how many points was it? Was it 70?
72
Yeah,
or 62
it
or
was-
something. It was a lot.
The Raiders beat up on Chargers 49, so I know it exceeded 49.
I want to say it was 70
63.
or something like that.
I think it was 60 something.
Yeah, I know it was close. But I mean, I just after it could have been easy for them to put their tails between their legs and just
Mhm.
go in the corner and give up on the season. But no, they put together a winning streak. They showed some heart, and even though things ended badly for them, after something like that happens, that's in my book, that's a win.
But no matter who you pick to be the bottom feeders in that division, I think they're good enough to get to 5 or 6 wins.
Oh,
they're not going to be easy. They're going to surprise a few people.
Yeah.
So I can easily see the last place team in that division having 6 wins and going like 6-11 for the year.
Yeah.
But that's last place. You're not going to see a 2-15 team or a 3, like we do in other divisions. There's some teams they're not going to win more than 2 or 3. You know something about that.
Oh, wow.
Tell us about it, Charlie. How many teams? Oh no, we're not talking about your conference.
It's almost as if Derek's sitting there.
Well, that chair gets it. And Charlie's a sneaky bully, man. He comes off smiling on camera, but he's always calling me up, laughing, saying something, smile on the phone or whatever. So I'm like, don't let Charlie think he's Mr. Nice Guy all the time. He likes to give it to us.
I'm gonna love Jordan Love this year.
It's all right.
All right, so let's dive into the NFC West.
Almost the same predicament. One dominant team.
You got one dominant, and then you've got a bunch of questions everywhere else.
Mm-hmm. Just who's going to improve? Can anybody even challenge?
Can anyone challenge? I don't believe so. I just think that the gap between the talent in which
Super Bowl
San Fran rolls out and the rest of the division is
and no major changes.
No.
So the only thing is, I heard today that they have a deal in place for Ayuk with the Steelers, and it's just a phone call. It's just a matter of Pittsburgh accepting it now. That San Fran and Ayuk have already signed off because he wants to go there.
Well,
so it's just a matter of them. I don't know what they're asking.
So if Ayuk is signing off on it, then basically they're going to up his salary.
Oh yeah. And they're probably going to add years to. They're going to rip up the last year and give him like a 4 or 5 year deal. And he was going to make 14 this year, but honestly, he got to be making 25 or better because he's as good as those other wide receivers that are making, 26 to 30 million.
I have no problem.
The Patriots were going to give him 32.
Yeah, which would have put him
at
number 2.
And you know something? Pittsburgh never pays their wide receivers. They always draft them and develop them. Antonio Brown, those great wide receivers.
They've been a wide receiver university.
But they think he's a big difference maker that could really help them out. So they're notorious for not paying people either. So that's a big move for them. That goes against the grain for them.
But who would the Steelers give up?
That's the question mark. That's what's behind the curtain right now. We don't know.
49ers want
they want a player that can start right now, and they want a wide receiver. So who are the other wide receivers?
They're not moving from Pickens.
Yeah, they're not. So who's the other wide receiver? Because Deontay left already. Yeah, he went to Carolina.
Tennessee or Carolina.
He went to Carolina. So I don't know who the third wide receiver was, unless they wanted their tight end, maybe. No, because they already got a good tight end.
They don't need no tight ends. Maybe
a defensive player.
Maybe it's another position.
They really, because with the Patriots, they definitely wanted Kendrick Bourne back. With the Browns, they wanted Amari Cooper back. So they wanted somebody who could step in. But, similar to what we just said about the Chargers,
do
you know who San Fran drafted this year?
Wide receiver.
Ricky Pearsall from Florida. Same mold.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be better than Ladd McConkey. He was drafted higher. He's supposed to be in the same mold. Like, he's ready to play right now, and he plays the same position Ayuk plays.
Yeah. I think the 49ers, they saw the right.
It's just they wanted, they were going to let Ayuk play this year and mentor this kid, and then they were going to let him walk. And then this kid was going to, so they were like, we got him playing at $14 million this year.
And he knew that as soon as they picked up his final year, his option. And he's like, wow, I'm only worth, look at my production that I've had the last 2 years.
And he's very important to that offense. I think for San Fran fans, you'd want to keep him, but we don't know what they're going to get back in return. And you don't want a disgruntled person there. If you don't have, but San Fran is still negotiating with him. Yeah. But they have an agreement in place on what they would get back from things. So all they have to do is work out the compensation, but they're still trying to, whatever deal Pittsburgh offered them, I bet you San Fran's trying to get as close to that deal as they can. But it has to be long term. It can't be, we're just going to give you the difference for this year and we'll talk at the end of the year. No. But you know what's going to happen? If he goes to Pittsburgh, within 2 days, the offensive lineman gets restructured because they can't sign both right now. And the offensive lineman is Trent Williams, one of the best in the game. And he's only 2 years into his contract, but he's watching what his peers are making. And he's like, I want more money. And he's 36.
It's It's one of those things that they're caught in.
I would have rather paid Ayuk because he's 26.
They're caught in a, you know, because you got two of your mainstays.
But you need
that are
Trent
very
Williams.
disgruntled.
Well,
yeah, you know,
dominant.
well, yeah, he's
But he's probably going to want 4 years, and at 40, he's not going to be worth it.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's you know, you have to make some hard decisions.
I would have kept Ayuk.
You have to make some hard decisions. Well, you know, but listen. So we're not even talking about the contract that the quarterback's going to get next year.
Right, and they got that right there. But for this
So
year,
you have to. Well, but that carries on in years. You're talking about if you sign him to if you sign him to $32.5 million, that's going to follow him. If you can unload him and get somebody who can give maybe 3/4 of his production, or maybe a little less than that.
Ricky Pearsall's having a good camp so far.
So now you're dumping salary, a whole lot of salary, and you got money to play with.
You're resetting the rookie contract for that wide receiver instead of quarterback. Purdy's done. He's going to get $50 million next year, at least. So with Ayuk, you're going back down to Pearsall on a rookie pay scale.
Yeah, and you don't got to worry about him for 3 years.
So that extra money can go a little bit toward Purdy's contract, a little bit toward the short term with Trent. Because I wouldn't give Trent more than 3 years.
Why do you think they've been able to sign all these guys?
Because of Purdy.
They've been living off of Purdy's low contract.
Those type of quarterbacks come along rarely because that's always the most. This guy was the last pick of the draft, got a chance and excelled. That doesn't happen normally. They were the golden goose was delivered to them.
Yeah. So
Debo Samuel.
Yeah.
He's
I almost would have paid Ayuk before Samuel. He already got his renegotiated contract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
they paid him
they
already,
said
and
that.
Ayuk's outproducing him.
it's Ayuk may be hurting himself because
He'll be the main focus now.
if
You
he
don't have
just
Debo
settles
on the
what he
other
has
side.
now, and CD Lamb's contract is definitely gonna surpass anything that we're thinking about right now when it comes to receivers. I think he's gonna get paid some money, whether it's with
well,
Dallas.
I don't foresee him getting paid. You know, and he's
I say 32 to 35.
He's going to get paid. I believe he's gunning for at least what Jefferson getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't think in his eyes. I've read some comments that were made, and he's like, I don't consider myself second to no one. He came in. I want to say for total yards last year, he was like 79 yards behind Tyreek Hill.
Mhm.
But Tyreek Hill missed a couple of games with injury too. CD Lamb was healthy. So
So I mean,
he's great production.
yeah, but the bottom line is he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
So that counts too.
Yeah.
You got to count that. He stayed healthy. He wasn't injured. He played every game. He's played every game that he's.
Nobody's had the total yards production over the first 3 years in the league like Jefferson. Jefferson set records 3 years in a row. For the first 3 years in the league, most yards, most catches for somebody first 3 years in the league. So your numbers are a little bit under, for the last 3 years, you're a little bit under Jefferson, but you want to get paid more. Last year was an exceptional year for CD. The other 2 years, his production wasn't as good as Jefferson's. So to say you definitely want more, if he got paid equal, I think that's a win. I can live with that. But to say you want more than Jefferson, I was like, you got to produce more than Jefferson to get more than
I
Jefferson.
think, for me, I think they're going to give him the same amount. I think they're going to.
And that's fine with me.
I think they're going to give him the same amount. But you know
But
what?
the ego of all these players,
Yeah.
like the quarter, I want 100,000 more than, I want 35.1.
Yeah,
Just to say I'm the highest paid.
they're not going.
Non-quarterback.
They're going to push the envelope only as far as you allow them to push it.
Mhm.
If you say, okay, I'm gonna cap you here at so much money, they're gonna say, okay, I want $1 million more. I want
Yeah.
$750,000 more. I want, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's always a game of cat and
I can
mouse.
see the agents now. Come on.
It's
35 million is what we're gonna agree on. But it's important to him. It shows that you value him more than anybody values any other receiver. Why can't you make it 35.2? It's 0.2. You're already giving up 35 million. What's 200,000? But when the article comes out, highest paid, but that's going to put a lot of pressure on CD. And you saw Emmitt Smith come out and blast Dallas about not signing both those guys, but really by not signing Dak Prescott. He goes, you need a franchise quarterback. And to not pay Dak and have CD holding out, you're putting Dak at a liability. You're hurting because there's a big drop off after him. I think the tight end was the next best receiver in Dallas. Yeah. So you don't have anybody else that's giving you no. CD Lamb was the man in Dallas. They don't have a number 2. So you're stunting the production of Prescott. He's not going to have a good year. You have to sign CD right now.
Yeah, the touchdowns were CD Lamb, Ferguson,
And
if
everybody else combined was
and
like
then
half the
Brooks would
production of
not.
Lamb.
and then Brooks would get something. You know.
But
I just want to get back to the AFC West. After San Francisco, you think they're all evenly matched? I think even Arizona gave some fits to a lot of teams.
a healthy Kyler Murray makes a big difference. Remember, they got Marvin Harrison. They had James Conner have a resurgent year last year at running back.
Yeah.
They bolstered their offensive line. Their defense needs help, but they're adding pieces.
Listen, you can't account for somebody.
They beat a lot of teams last year that they shouldn't have beat.
You can't account for someone with the escapability that Kyler Murray has, and he has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But
And now he has somebody on the outside like he had with Hopkins.
It's just a matter of him being able to stay healthy to be on the field now. I mean, he's run into the last couple of years, year and a half.
He's a smaller guy, height-wise, but
where he
big
is,
old legs.
where he's been, he hasn't been available. But when healthy, I mean, he's like one of those little gnats. You can't.
You have to account for him running and passing.
Because his ability to make up plays on the run is great.
You have to have a spy on him.
Tremendous.
Oh, yeah.
Now you got to cover because he's a good enough and accurate enough quarterback.
I mean, you put a spy on him. Most team spies are going to be a linebacker or a safety.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys don't have nearly the speed that you need to catch that guy.
No, but to slow him down before he gets going. Somebody's staying at that line of scrimmage, not dropping back in coverage, waiting for the run. So maybe you stop him after 6 or 7 yards instead of 10 to 12 yards. Because we all know what he can run.
It's tough game planning against a guy like this.
We'll bring a safety up to spy on.
There's nothing worse. You can ask anybody that plays defense than a scrambling quarterback, because now you have to watch 2 people. You have to watch the guy you're covering, and you have to watch the quarterback. As soon as you go like this, he's off and running for 30 yards.
Yeah, you got sure. I mean, he's got some receivers from out of the backfield with Connor. He's got Harrison. He's got McBride.
Who's a great. They got him rated as the 3rd best tight end in fantasy sports right now. I had him last year, and I picked him up after Zach Ertz was there.
Yeah.
And he took over, and I picked him up just because he was in it. There was nobody left. And what a surprise he was. But you asked the question, is it a runaway? I don't think they're the second team. I think the Rams are the second team.
Yeah, the Rams. Yeah, they're definitely the Rams.
Matt Stafford had a great year. Pika Nakul, they say his injury's not as bad, but they're going to hold him out. You're going to combine him and a healthy Cooper Kupp.
Hey,
and then their running back had a great year, Kyrie Williams.
They're putting, was it Nakul above Kupp?
Yeah, he's going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
He's a bigger version. Kupp's small.
They have
Kupp's small and speedy, but
he's got
almost everything.
Listen.
Cooper Kupp's going to slip to the 3rd round, and somebody's going to get him as a second wide receiver.
He's got, I can't even say his name. I won't even.
Pika Nakul?
Peekaboo? But he's got, so I watched him when we played against him, and he has that sneaky separation speed.
And he's got some size.
And he's got size.
He's strong.
And his hands are very strong. There was a couple passes that he caught that I thought were going to be picked, and he just ripped it away.
He doesn't need much space, and you can't arm tackle him.
No. So yeah, I expect them to be,
on offense, they're going to compete with people.
Yeah.
Their defense, they've been gutted because remember they signed all those people going for they're all gone. Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald retired. They've lost all the big name pieces on their defense, so they're going to have to outscore people. They have the guns on offense. My thing is, can they stop other people? But I still think they're the 2nd best team by a landslide. So I think they get the number 2 spot. And then we can talk about 3 and 4. I think Arizona, and who's the 4th team in that division?
Seattle.
Oh no, Seattle and Arizona, I think are going to be close because
Lost it. They still got their receivers.
yes, and who did they, their quarterback Gino, he got the clean bill of health. They were worried about him, so no delays. He had a great year last year. To me, he should have been up there for comeback player of the year. I can't remember who got it, but he definitely should have been up there. Do you think Arizona will have a better year than Seattle? They still got, and they got the running back Kenneth Walker. They got the wide receivers, but I don't know what their defense is all about. But they drafted Witherspoon, and they put together some pieces on defense.
Seattle's played San Fran the toughest.
I think they'll be the third team.
Well, I think the Rams and Seattle played San Fran the toughest.
Well, anybody, a divisional game, we see the same thing in the Patriots. You know each other so much.
The division game's always tough. I mean, because they know you play them 2 times.
But last place in that division could be a 500 team or 8 and 9.
Yeah, they got Arizona winning 7 games.
Yeah, that's reasonable because they're improved. Seattle won more than that last year and got better.
Seattle was 9-8.
Yeah, and they got better. So let's just say Seattle wins 1 more game than they did last year, right? They're 10-7, and I think somebody like Arizona can beat a Seattle in Arizona, maybe beat the Rams in Arizona. They'll lose on the road, but I think Arizona is going to win 8 or 9 games. I can see them going 8 and 9 or 9 and 8.
What's going to help them too is the last place schedule.
Yes,
yeah.
And they might be one of the best last place teams in the league.
Yeah.
Actually, which division they play?
I'm not
I
sure
don't know.
what division they're playing, but
they get to play all the last place teams in their division and every other division.
Yeah, so that'll help them tremendously. Where Seattle will not get that up.
And that home field advantage in Seattle is nothing nice. It gets loud.
So yeah,
I'm trying to remember who Seattle drafted this year.
Seattle drafted. They had two good picks. Byron Murphy, the second.
The big defensive lineman,
and
he's
Leonard
mobile
Williams,
from Texas.
and Leonard Williams. So
wait a minute, Leonard Williams.
I mean, I'm sorry, and they got Leonard Williams.
Yeah, Leonard Williams came over in free agency, and they got Byron. So they're going to be tough up the middle.
Yes. So this.
They already have Witherspoon and another good shutdown cornerback. I forgot the other guy's name, but they have 2 good cornerbacks.
The tall kid there. That's
No, Witherspoon's not the tall kid.
No,
I just can't remember the tall kid's
He's
name.
6'4".
Yeah, I can't remember his name. He was the year before.
He's 6'4".
The year before Witherspoon came, because Witherspoon's small.
6'4", skinny, very.
He got hurt a little bit last year, I think.
They're playing the AFC East. That whole NFC West is playing the AFC East.
Oh, so you'll see them up close and personal.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot. I think the AFC East is going to be one of those tough divisions too. They might be, except for the Patriots. The rest of them.
I may be watching the red zone a lot.
But that's going to be interesting because I think Seattle got better and they were better last year. But I think Arizona closed the gap on everybody. I think Arizona is going to get anywhere from 7 to 9 wins, 9 at the most, but 7 as the as the low point. But for a last place team to have 7 wins, there's no gimmies in that division. Every team can win at home.
Yeah, it's. I think that. I think they'll be improved, but I think with the last place schedule, they'll benefit a lot from that, tremendously. So it's foregone conclusion. San Fran, the Rams, and then Seattle and Arizona to top off the NFC West. It's so I'm trying to think. So NFC West, San Fran, I think has won 3 consecutive years.
If not more, unless the Rams won the year they went. What year did the Rams go to Super Bowl? When Stafford first got there?
4 years ago.
Yeah. So that was the only break in it because before that they weren't getting there.
No. Yeah, so
they went there with Goff though, but
3 consecutive years.
Yeah, but that division is going to be much improved this year too. But I don't think nobody's catching the 49ers. But I think the Rams are definitely the second best team, with Seattle slightly behind them.
I will say this. I will say this about San Fran. If they don't win it this year, their window may have closed.
Because they're going to spend money.
Yeah,
Williams and Purdy are definitely getting paid. And what happens if they renegotiate with Ayuk and keep him?
I don't see no way that Ayuk comes back to the team. I think he'll be on a different team opening day. It's just too much now at this point.
What does it tell you that San Fran's still trying to negotiate with him?
Well, no,
like they're willing to keep him as long as it's a decent price.
This is the thing, but his decent price and their decent price and his.
But if he agrees and he stays, then there's no discount at.
Yeah. I think me personally,
I pay him big for this year and say, let's go for the Super Bowl. Let him go next year.
But that he doesn't want that. He wants long-term security. It's not a question because he's what was he getting?
But he also wants to go to a team of his choice.
17 million?
14.
Oh, excuse me, 14 million. All right. So he
was on a rookie contract.
I understand that.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Well, that's what it's all about.
First round.
This is what it's all about. You have all the leverage you have when you pick up that final year. You have no saying. And this is what's like I said, his idea of a good price and their idea of a good price. He wants to be paid, in that upper, 1, 2, 3 tier, and they're not willing to do that because they're looking further down, knowing the fact that they've got a lineman that they got to pay, and knowing the fact that they've got a quarterback that's going to break the bank next year. So they're trying to be frugal with their money and say, hey, listen, we can't. Don't make the mistake that Dallas made. You can't pay an edge rusher number 1. You can't pay a wide receiver number 1. You can't pay a quarter because guess what? In 4 years, what will you be left with, right? And this is how they're trying to balance it. And he's like, not my problem, not my problem. I've gone out and I've done what you asked me to do, and then some. Now you got to pay me.
And they're probably confident. San Fran's probably confident to say, look, he's got to be here. He's got to play. And he's going to play well because he's playing for his next contract. So, but because they opened this talk about trading him, everyone's calling him at different times or all at the same time. So even if they stop negotiating with Pittsburgh right now, there's going to be other teams that are still there.
But he holds the card of saying,
not
only do I want the money, I want to go to somewhere where I can win. So now you're cutting out. Yeah, people have the money. The people that are trying to build. Cleveland's not in rebuild mode, but he didn't want to go there. I don't think he wants to go to a cold weather climate. Remember, Ayuk is a West Coast guy. He's played in warm weather his whole college career, and so he doesn't want to go play in Cleveland in the wintertime. He doesn't want to go to New England, who's cold and horrible now. But he wants to go. I mean, Pittsburgh's going to be cold though.
Pittsburgh's going to be very cold.
But I think his respect for Tomlin. They're always in the playoffs. He thinks he might think with him they elevate him, because they made the playoffs so many years in a row that maybe they get a first round win now and they build from there.
But you know what? It may be only a few choices though. It may just be New England, Pittsburgh, and someone else. Just because of that.
We never heard of another team yet, but there could be a dark horse that enters at any moment that just once they hear the parameters, they might be like a contender might say, hey, we'll offer a little more than Pittsburgh, and we're ready to win right now. Like, what if Kansas City can't call on all of a sudden?
Minnesota calls.
Minnesota won't call unless they know Addison's out long because he's on a rookie contract. They already just paid the highest amount for it. Hawkinson's one of the highest paid wide receivers. Jefferson's one of the they don't have the money.
Yeah, tight end.
Not for wide receiver. We got to spend money on offensive line and defense now.
Yeah, you can't cash out.
He won't get much if I have to cash out him. I don't have no money in the bank for me, let alone for him.
All right, so let's spin this over to the injuries.
Oh boy,
a lot of injuries.
I got 2 long bad faces right now.
Yeah, tell us about them.
Well, everybody knows I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan.
No.
And our number 1 pick, 10th overall, who from all reports was looking good in camp. Had a good showing. I know it's a small sample, but when you watch the statue at quarterback all these years, and now you watch somebody with mobility who can run and escape pressure and buy some time, and he's throwing the ball pretty accurate. He played that whole game and he got hurt and didn't even know. And he walked into the office the first day after the preseason game, I got some soreness in my knee. I want to get checked out. The swelling's not going away. He took a day off. The second day he went in the office, got it checked out. Torn meniscus of the worst kind. Not a little bit. They have to repair the whole thing. Season ended. So that stunts his development, and he was building off the momentum. That's all gone. He'll come back, but he's only going to be the classroom guy now. He's only going to be able to watch and absorb, but he can't get out on the field and practice and get better in practice. The only thing is I didn't want him to play till second year or the end of this year. I wanted him to play behind Donald, similar to Mahomes, similar to Love, but Love waited forever. You know, Mahomes waited 1 year. I think he would have been ready next year. But then today, this morning he went in for surgery, and today's practice, Jordan Addison gets carted off the field with a lower leg injury. And the reports say it could be season ending, but we won't know till the swelling goes down tomorrow. We can get in there and evaluate it. But they took away the knee injury part. Now it's either the Achilles tendon or the ankle. It's down low. It's not the knee, but Achilles tendon is going to put you out for a long time if that's what it is. A high ankle sprain is what, 6 to 8 weeks? Like, people take forever coming. But if it's a high ankle sprain, I'll live with it because I can't. The Vikings will still be decent because Donald was going to be the starter anyway, but Addison was going to be somebody that was going to start and produce for us. Donald might eventually lost the job to McCarthy. McCarthy, it hurts us development wise, but so we lost both of those. I just don't know the update on Addison. There could be updates now. We'll probably hear something definite tomorrow. But there's other people out there that Hollywood Brown, we mentioned in big acquisition, speed guy to help out, Mahomes as if he needed more help.
But they were kind of dummying that down, his injury.
Yes, but it was, he's still not going to be ready for week 1. I don't know what it was, a shoulder separation or something?
Well, they ruled out separation.
Well, yeah, but it's still something. It's still something decent. Let me go. I know I got it in my notes, and when I put it in our group text, but
Who are you talking about?
Hollywood Brown.
Oh.
I sent a list. There's an article that has the list of everybody.
Oh, so McCarthy, Jameer Gibbs, Malik Neighbors, Hollywood Brown,
And Trice.
Trice was a rookie. They were talking about he was fighting for a starting spot. He ended up being a 3rd round draft pick because of being injury prone in college. But that dude was really, really good.
It's unfortunate, but we see it every year. We see every year somebody. I mean, it happened to us last year, and it happened to us again this year too, as well.
Yeah.
You just hope that it doesn't, but there's always somebody that's going to be, they're going to be gone even before the season starts.
Here's the update on Brown. Hollywood Brown made his Chiefs debut on Saturday against the Jaguars, but his appearance was short-lived. After appearing in Kansas City's opening drive and making an 11-yard catch, Brown was listed as questionable to return due to a shoulder injury. Andy Reid gave further context in the injury postgame, saying he suffered a sternoclavicular, the clavicle joint, dislocation. So it's dislocated, but it's not separated. So that takes away the long-term out. He could potentially miss some time. I'm hearing that he's going to miss like 1 or 2 weeks now because it's not the separation. It's a dislocation.
So the injury is similar to the one suffered by Tyreek Hill in 2019. Yeah.
Oh, that's a few years ago. I can't
It
remember.
caused Hill to miss 4 games.
Right. So, but that happened in season.
Yeah.
There's still 3 weeks left before the first game played. So he could miss 1, possibly 2 games, but that's it. Whereas if it was the dislocation, if it was the other one, he could have missed 6 to 8 weeks. He could have been gone for a while, but.
So you got injuries to Jameer Gibbs.
And they don't even know exactly what that is yet.
I thought it was
Well, the prediction. Yeah, hamstring.
hamstring.
But they're being tight-lipped about the severity of it. He can't practice right now. But I think his got upgraded too. Let's see. Where's Jameer Gibbs?
Yeah, so no recent updates on Gibbs.
Yeah, I don't think Detroit wants to say much. And they got David Montgomery as an insurance policy. What a nice, if you have to ease him in until he's ready. That's what happened with the Jets last year with Breece Hall, and they picked up Dalvin Cook, but Breece Hall came back, ready to go from the beginning, and they just phased out Dalvin Cook right away.
Yeah. Who else?
Malik Neighbors.
They
said he'll be ready for week 1 now.
Well, he was back in practice.
He is?
When he got injured, he went back to practice, and
There's no doubt he will be ready for week 1.
He was on the field that day.
He was ankle, right?
Ankle injury.
Ankle,
Yep. Neighbors did not suffer the injury during the Giants preseason opener, but at Sunday's practice, he got twisted up. Raylan Trice, the Falcons' 3rd-round draft pick, outside linebacker, he's on IR. He tore his ACL.
And what?
Drew Lock, who was the
Atlanta.
backup for the Giants, he's done too. Well, he's at his hip point. He's going to be done for a little while now. A good rookie in Baltimore got hurt. Their 1st-round pick, Nate Wiggins, the cornerback. He's just been upgraded. Wiggins left Friday's game against the Eagles with a minor shoulder sprain. He had 3 pass breakups in the first series. They're adding him next to Kyle Hamilton, who's at safety, and they got another good defensive back, another good cornerback. They're going to be tough to throw the ball on, and they're going to run the ball a lot with Henry now. Yeah. So you got to uptick them. But I'm glad that he is not hurt long term. A rookie playing well.
Believe it or not, that's my AFC.
There's a lot of good AFC picks right now.
Who's that?
Baltimore? Just because of Henry.
Pittsburgh's number 1 pick, Troy Fatanu, their offensive tackle, minor MCL sprain. He's their top 1st-round pick. The Steelers do believe the injury not to be serious, but it'll probably be held back to the end of training camp. But the only thing I don't like about that is when you don't get the reps at full speed. All these guys that try to come back, even the holdouts, I see it with more. When it comes to the regular games, they try to go full speed, and they haven't ramped up these soft tissue injuries. They end up getting hurt again because they haven't been able to go out there and go full speed for the last couple of weeks. And then the lights come on, and they just, in their mind, they're like, all right, time to go. I don't feel no pain. But the muscle's not strong yet. So hopefully they err on the side of caution, like Pika the Two and all them. I hope they're still running on the side. They're just not taking contact. But that conditioning is where I think somewhere like Brian's guy, CeeDee Lamb, I don't know what he's doing on his own. But it's not the same as going against another team's first team in these joint practices and you're running full speed. He's going to come back and try to come right in without any preseason. Every year, I see the holdouts get hurt. They get signed, the first 2 games.
They don't have a full.
Yeah.
They don't have a full camp.
David Bell, I'm not sure who that is. Marshawn Lloyd, he's a rookie running back who I heard was looking real good in Green Bay. He has a hamstring injury. Who else? There were some other people. Gibbs could be. Somebody else got hurt long term. I'm trying to remember who it was.
Atlanta's Moore.
He's out for the Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
He got hurt last week, so that was on like left.
All right. Let's move on to the Olympics so we can talk about it. We get less than a half an hour. As you know, the United States men's and women's headed into the final against, as luck would have it, both France.
Check to see if Judon got traded.
31 minutes ago.
Damn.
Let's see.
That's changed my.
I wonder where he went to and what they got back for him. It got to be a first one. He only had $6.5 million left on his $14 million contract because all the money was up front.
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
The fantasy football team, Judon Justice, is going to have to change, I guess.
To the Raven.
To the Falcons.
They need help on defense. Wow. So they paid Kirk Cousins and now they pay Judon. That's a good fit for him. Damn. I think there'll be an upcut, but New England has they played well without him. They didn't want to pay him big money because he's 31. And I bet you it wasn't the amount of money he wanted. It was how many years he wanted.
But keep that red shirt. Going to Atlanta. Damn.
You know, Atlanta's been trying to build their defense, but they just finished building their offense. They drafted Drew London. They drafted Bijan Robinson. They got a nice tight end, the nice tight end there. And they brought in a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and they drafted his backup. They got a lot of young stuff, and their offensive line is one of the best in football. Now they have to fill the holes on defense, and that's big for them.
Michael Pence. Oh my God.
Yeah, Penix. Oh, yeah, he's over there. Wow. So as we are on the air, Matthew Judon has been traded from the Patriots, and Charlie, we're going to get him the ventilator over there.
Yeah.
He's trying to hold it together right now, but as a strong Patriots fan, I know you loved him. Your fantasy team was named after him, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Gonna have to change that this year.
Yeah, it's pretty. But hey, it is what it is. So
He's going to Atlanta. I got family there. I got family in Atlanta.
Go see Bobby Haddix.
so
Watch a game.
like I was saying, the men's and women both ventured into the finals against look what happened.
France, yeah, same matchup in both. I didn't know the women were gonna have that many good players on the French team. We knew about Wemby and Gobert, so we knew they'd be a formidable challenge. Frank Nicolini, all these guys with NBA experience. But the women, an old American friend really helped them out. I was trying to figure out who she was when she was playing, and then I was like, she's from UConn.
Yes.
I am very surprised that I didn't watch not one women's game in the Olympics.
Oh, I watched the three of them. But the first ones were hard to watch because they were blowing people out.
Yeah.
I watched it at the beginning just to see what they look like because they lost to the select team. So that might have motivated them and lit a fire, but they didn't have no close games until they got to the final two.
So in the finals for the women, they finally came up against a team who had size, as they did. France was very big.
Mhm.
They were very big and very athletic. And you know, not for nothing, the U.S. women didn't help themselves. They had a slew of turnovers.
Which surprised me because
Yes.
they have Chelsea Gray, who plays for the Aces, back-to-back champions. She's very good. And they also have Kelsey Plum, who was the all-time leading scorer before Caitlin Clark. But she's more of an off guard that plays point guard. But maybe that's why, because she's more of a scorer trying to play the
I'll
play.
tell you what. France knew something about ball pressure because they picked up full court the whole game.
Yeah.
The whole game. And if I had to put a number on the turnovers from the pressure before or just after they got after over half court, it was probably half dozen. Easily. They knew something.
Yeah.
And they stuck to it. And you know, everything worked well for them, with the exception of the last couple of minutes.
Talking about the Rebecca Lobo was talking about how they were missing layups.
Oh, yeah. They so you know what I took away from it? They were rushed, and it got them out of the flow of their game. And they were the ones who were always rushing teams and pressuring teams, and they got it done to them. In the first half, they had 14 turnovers.
And that takes away from the dominance we had down low with Asia Wilson and Breonna Stewart, and Nafisha Collier, another UConn person.
Yes.
They were playing well, but if you can't get them the ball because of turnovers, you know how frustrating that must have been?
And even when Asia Wilson, even when she did get the ball,
It collapsed
inside,
on the size.
the size bothered her a lot. I never seen her
Passing out of the double
miss.
team a lot.
I've never seen her miss so many layups that I thought she was going to make. It's because of the pressure that was put on. It's because of the size. The size bothered them, and it was evident. I you know, in the first half, I thought that she could have easily had 8 more points, but I don't want to say blue lips, but I think she was really conscious about the size that was to the left and to the right of her.
Yep.
So yeah, they got done to them what they normally do to
Taken out of
the
their
other
comfort
teams.
zone.
And not only did the turnovers, they were sped up. They were sped up so much to the point where it was errant passes, bad passes, low passes. You know, it was traveling calls. It was stuff that you normally wouldn't see the women do it. So whatever game plan that France had, which included the pressure, it worked well. It worked well. Not every team can do it because number one, you got to have the speed and you got to have the height.
Height took away second shots.
Oh yes, definitely.
That's a big difference. Their defense improved. There was no second shots or rebounds, so it was like one and done. And they were boxing out and using their size to rebound and getting their scorers out in a fast break. In the open court, France had a couple. Their shooter, she had a good game up until the final four, and I thought she forced it against the United States. But then old friend Gabby Williams stepped in and dominated the last two. And she's an old UConn product. She was the number 4 pick in the draft, not too far. I think 2019 or 18. She was the number 4 pick overall. I was wondering how she was playing for France, but her mother has citizenship in France. Her mother's French, and her father, but she left the WNBA over a contract dispute, and they paid her because we know up until this year the women weren't getting no money. No. She was one of the top players, and she felt like she was getting peanuts. So Europe paid her more. So she went to go play in her mother's native country. What a final 2 games she had.
Yeah. By as luck would have it, showcasing her skills, there's going to be somebody that's going to reach out to her.
I expect her to be signed. The season starts in a week. The second half of the season, and they've already played like 3/4 of the season because the championship September 12th or 19th. They extended the season now because with the TV money and all that, they're playing like an extra 8 to 10 games this year. Yeah. And we know they're set up for expansion, but somebody's going to offer her a contract because now the money's there. Yeah. And it's going to be a contending team. Yeah. It's going to be somebody who wants to compete with the Liberty, the Aces, or the Connecticut Sun. I'd like her to go to the Connecticut Sun because where she played for UConn, she'd be close by. And I think that would help them have the leg up on the Liberty, who they have to get by on the East Coast, because then the Aces have won back-to-back.
Yeah. Let's just put it this way. If she had caught the ball one step sooner,
was on the line.
One step sooner.
It was a Kevin Durant against my
one
situation.
Step sooner, we would have been talking overtime.
Yeah. And they had the momentum.
Oh yes, they had big time. They had the momentum. But yeah, so it was a nail biter all the way to the end. The girl that came in after what's her name fouled out
for the United States.
Yeah, the guard. What's her name?
Chelsea fouled out. No, who fouled out? It wasn't Tarasi.
The black girl. She fouled out.
Chelsea Gray. Who's the other guards for the Olympic team?
Couldn't help.
She fouled out. And then the girl that came in for her played really well. She played. I forget her name, but
the defense, Jackie Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, so she D's up people too, but she can score. But she's so aggressive on defense. She's probably the one that fouled out.
Yeah, she fouled out. And the girl that came in for her played well. She got a turnover and she hit 2 big free throws. So when she first fouled out, it looked a little bleak because no one could stop her going to the basket. Her downhill, her downhill game is just like it's like
the most underrated.
I'll give you a jab and then I'll buy you. And she was finishing at the rim. And I'm saying, because they were kind of struggling from the outside. I'm saying, listen, now is not the time to settle. But they kept their foot on the pedal. They were downhill. And as luck would have it, if Williams doesn't catch that ball, you're looking at overtime, and who knows? Who knows?
Momentum going the way they were going. Now, the other thing I was wondering, what did you think about the coaching of the women's?
Are you referring to people sitting on the bench too, or because I thought at one point where they went stale with outside shooting, that maybe, just maybe, that you would have witnessed maybe Diana Taurasi come in for some
she didn't play the whole championship. She didn't play 1 second.
Nope. She got a DNP.
But she's a shooter, and when you're struggling with the outside shot, you got to give your shooters a chance. And I thought the coach was slow making adjustments, afraid to mix it up too much. it's hard when you got that talent. We've seen it on the men's side too.
And as a coach, she's probably dealing with the pressure on the sidelines. She's like, just the score, all the turnovers. What can I do?
Might even not even realize who you got on the bench.
And so she really not trying to think of that strategy.
But that's why you got assistants there too to kind of help you out.
Probably over there stressing out on the sideline and couldn't make those moves when she should have.
I would like to see what would happen if Dawn Staley came back to coach, because I think she's in tune with the women players. She's coached or had them play. She's either coached or coached against all those players. She's also played against Diana Taurasi and all them, so she'd know how to handle the veterans. She knows all the up and coming girls from coaching South Carolina, and she's always been a winner. And I think they would respect her. And I think she wouldn't crack under that pressure. I thought the United States got to that victory in spite of their coach. Yeah. I didn't see. I was seeing runs. They were up. I was like, yo, what? No timeout or no substitution here, and left Jackie Young in there to foul out. Maybe she should have came out a little earlier in the game, and you needed her in the game. Ryan was just saying how she was dominating when she went downhill.
She had 4 fouls with 5 minutes left in the game. 4 fouls with 5 minutes left in the game.
And it was probably too close to take her out. So
well, this is what I'm saying. I thought you might have, and they were struggling from the outside. I thought that, and even Rebecca Lobo said it. She said maybe DT will come in and get a chance to shoot. When she got the 4th foul, and it never happened. And then when she fouled out with like a little under 2 minutes to go. But it's just one of those things. Now this is a good segue over to the men's, because once again we hit a bump in the road with the men playing France.
Well, their last 2 games were incredible.
But so if you look at it, all right. So you played against Serbia in the semifinal round, 17 points down, and then you play against France, who was a double-digit underdog, and
they weren't even supposed to win their semifinal game against Germany. They gave the United States all they can handle more, and if it wasn't for the unconscious shooting of Steph, KD to a point.
We made it was Steph down the end. I mean,
in the final game, in the semifinal game, it was KD and
if you didn't have him shooting like he was, on another planet, or shooting at the hoop like it was the ocean, we might be talking, differently today. I listen to everybody talk about, how great international play is. But once again, we're here, if you look at the French team, there's only one player on that team that would make the United States team. That would be Wembanyama. And no one else on that team would.
No, but they have enough pros that they're not intimidated playing against the United States, because Gobert's there.
I don't think.
Nicolina's there.
I don't think.
Yabusele with the Celtics.
And that's the guy who never got off the bench.
Right.
He was second leading scorer.
Yeah.
But this so I listen to everybody. Everybody wanting to give credit and praise to this team, because it's supposed to rival the 92 team. And then their answer is like, well, the 92 team didn't face as many European players.
They only had 9. Now there's 61.
So now, if you just take and you screw the NBA players, screw the titles, look at what France has for players. Okay, their second leading scorer wasn't good enough to get off the bench when he played for the Celtics. Mm-hmm. All right, wasn't good enough to get off the bench. He
looked much improved in this Olympic tournament.
But he hasn't been in the NBA.
Somebody will give him a look this year.
Oh yeah, somebody will give. Yeah, well, he featured himself. But here's what I discovered. And my assessment of why the games are so close. It's not a talent thing. I don't think if you look at the players, if you look at, like I said, if you look at the team that France put up there, and you look at the team that the United States put up there, you would laugh if you would put that team to play against them in the league.
Yeah.
But there's a difference. The league and FIBA. FIBA has different rules,
physicality,
and it's a lot more physical. And our players are not used to that physicality.
Mm-hmm.
They're not used to that physicality. You can say whatever. Anybody can say whatever they want. If you took that same French team and you put them in the NBA league, NBA
rules change for them.
If you put them in NBA, so now we have the advantage because the physicality. There's a lot of stuff.
I like to be able to see that physicality brought back.
But this is the thing; these guys
changes how you play.
These guys,
these divas,
they're not used to it. And everybody, so everybody wants to give them praise, but they don't want to look at anything negative. And as soon as you say something negative about it, oh, you're just hating. You're just hating. So why don't you look at, there's positive in everything. Yes, you want a gold medal, but let's look at it for what it is. Let's look at the negative point of view.
Yeah.
Most of like I said, there's only one guy from that team that would crack that team.
Yep.
You got 12 guys on that team that are all NBAers in either the first, second, or third team.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
They
right.
gotta mesh together, and that's what makes what Steph did even more impressive.
I just believe that one, physicality. All right, FIBA rules are different. Two, and I'll say this till the day is long. I don't think that the difference between a lot of the stars is being able to mesh in such a short period of time. I just don't see them.
And allowing each one of those players to contribute what they do best. Sometimes different situations don't allow for different people to filter into that mix.
If it were, let's face it, if it weren't for heroics by Kevin Durant and
the veterans on that team, him,
and
LeBron, KD,
and then Curry in the final game, we could be talking about this in a different light. It should, for me, it shouldn't have to come down to, okay, Steph Curry has to hit 8 3-pointers. He has to hit 5 or 4 of them in the last minute and at 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. It shouldn't have to come down to that.
He made it must-see TV.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been that excited watching an Olympic game in a long time because it's always blowouts.
Yeah.
But the greatness of Steph Curry in that game, it was giving me chills watching. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like, you just hit a big, you just hit another one. No, a third. Oh, and that last one, forget it. And then the whole putting them to sleep thing and watching everybody on the bench be into it.
Yeah. There's good and there's negative. I know a lot of people like to, talk about the negative, but it's there. It's there. This was supposed to be one of the better teams that we put out there in some time because of the fact that you had Steph Curry, who hadn't played in the Olympics, and this was, this was ultimately an Olympics that he'll never forget because of what he did in the final minutes. But this was the first to have all three of those guys playing together: Durant, LeBron, and Curry.
And they all dominated at different times, but they were willing to let each other.
Well,
but how did LeBron get MVP?
Because
he was
the most consistent.
General. He was a general. He was doing a lot of things.
Because of the fact that
he had
rebounds, points,
excellent games.
But they're talking about the overall Olympics. He led it on all the major stats: points, rebounds, assists.
All over the place.
So that's what garnered him to be able to do that. I'm not. Something, I could care less because you could have given it to one of 3 guys. Like I said, my concern is when you go from not I think the U.S. team has to be consistent. You can't only want to play every 4 years. Mm-hmm. You should follow it. You should be playing in the
The World
the
Championship.
World Championship games. You should be playing in the panning. All those you should be following. So it should be a commitment for you for at least 4 years. Not
To build
okay.
that continuity.
There you go.
And maybe you switch out 1 or 2 players, but the core group should already be determined and playing together.
There you go.
Leave 2 spots open for like rookies.
If it's not important for you to play in the other games leading up to it, it's supposed to be a team game and it's supposed to be a United States thing. But these guys, they just want to skip over everything. They want to play only for the biggest
Because they
stage.
think they're that good. I think this was a message to them from the rest of the world that
And this is what happens.
you're gonna have to come prepared to beat us.
You
now.
get these other teams that have been playing together for 12 years, 3 Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys, 4 Olympics.
Their career,
You know?
countrymen.
I would what's his name that Batum. He's been on
They showed a picture.
12
of
years.
Yeah.
12 years. He retired. He said, I am retiring from international play. I think I've done as well as I could. I think I put them in the right direction, and I'm leaving them in good hands.
Yeah.
So that right there itself tells you that these guys are committed, not just for the Olympics, for everything, And this is how it should be. I think in order for the United States to regain the dominance where they once were, is to follow that track.
And it would make it. I mean, you're doing the off-season workouts, so instead of doing those off-season workouts, be on the world team, right?
Yeah.
Be on the world team. You get to shoot the ball.
People
you get
want
to
the
do
summers off.
everything.
Drew Holiday and Tatum and somebody else, they played the last 2 years over the summer.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of veterans that are not going to be around. More than half the team's not going to be there.
Yeah.
In 4 years.
Yeah.
Who can we look forward to for the next team? Who do you see replacing the Currys, the Durants, the LeBrons, the Anthony Davis? Even though some circles have Anthony Davis still hanging in.
They talked about Edwards.
Edwards and Booker, I think, stay
Yeah.
from the team that's there.
You're gonna get
Tatum's going to still be there.
You're gonna get Morant
I think Brown will be there next time.
if he likes to.
They mentioned Ja yesterday.
They brought up Cooper Flag, and he hasn't even played a game in college yet.
If Tatum elects to go there, I mean, he could have such a bad taste. He's
But
not
I
a
think
vocal guy.
they'll know he'll
He's
be a
not-
focal point next time.
He's not a vocal guy, so.
But yes, right.
Kerr
won't be the
He could be
coach.
like that. He could be like, you know what? I don't want to go. I got such a bad taste in my mouth that
And
I
he's
don't
got
want
2
to go.
gold, right?
Yes, he's got 2 of them.
So
He's got 2 of
to
them.
me, I think all of us should be happy with two
Yeah.
golds. So he could probably just say.
But if I could be one of the leaders on the next Olympics, he's still going to be in his prime in 4 years.
I don't know. He's daddy of 2 children.
Steph Curry got 3.
Steph Curry got. Does he have 3 or 4?
Man, he just had one.
He
Yeah.
just had one.
But you know what's funny? Did you see Anthony Edwards' comment about Steph Curry? And they had a little interview. It was all over Facebook. And he said, this guy didn't show up till game 3. Until the last 3 games. You know why? Because his wife didn't make it over there until the last 3 games. Because she had just had the baby. They were waiting to travel. And they came over toward the end because she said it was too early to go early on. They were the guys were there for like 2 weeks. They were there a week before the Olympics started, and they were traveling all over playing these exhibition games. She came over, and Anthony Edwards was like, I just want to thank Aisha Curry because Steph didn't play well until she got here. Like the last 3 games. And then they had a controversy with her. Do you see that? Draymond Green came to
there was a.
wouldn't let her pass because the
was-
president's entourage was going by.
It was a communication error because of not being able to say what they meant in French in English.
There was a translator came over
Yes,
later.
yes.
Yeah.
So somebody came over and it was lost in transition, but yeah, unfortunate, but it's just one of those things that happens. I'm not. I don't know what the what the protocol is for for family when traveling, if they go solo or they're included in. I don't know.
If they go at the beginning, they can stay in the Olympic Village if they're married. But she came over with only 4 days left in the Olympics or something like that.
I don't think the family's included. I mean, that track star was stealing the village muffins for a boyfriend.
The track star, I don't know how to hear about that one. But there was a lot of controversies this year with the way things got handled outside the events.
Not stealing what she took.
But who do you think's in better shape for the next Olympics? I think the women are.
Yeah, no, the women.
Yes,
the women are.
Angel Reese and Juju come in.
The women, the women definitely are.
And they got enough young players on that team that can hold on.
Yeah, the women. I think the women have always been in a better place because of the fact that they play, as I said, they play.
They have to go overseas and play during the off season because they don't make enough money.
But the thing is, they follow they're more apt to follow the protocol of playing with that team for more years, whereas the pros, I just want to play every 4 years.
That's true. But the point I was making was when they go overseas to play, they're playing with European rules, so they're more accustomed to the European way of doing things. The physicality, the goal, whatever the rules are in Europe, they're different than here. So when they go over to play in Europe, they're forced to play European rules, which is more of what the Olympic Guild is around.
I think the women, just solely for that reason, because they're more in line with doing what I said, with playing. In that 4 years, they're going to play just about all the time.
Yeah.
Where the men, no, they just pick and choose when they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to know each other's games more. And it's also easier for the coach because now you're not like, okay, well, last year I had, Kevin Durant's here. I got to switch everything up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You see these players coming in and they play like that. Where the men, like I said, with the men, they don't follow, the steps. They go from, A to Z and they're there.
I think that's going to change going forward because the world definitely has closed the talent gap. And the games were super competitive. They could have lost to Serbia. They could have lost to in the championship. And we know Germany had a good team. So there was 3 other teams that could have beat us. There was 3 other teams that legit had a chance to beat us.
Well, every time the U.S. men's team does lose, the very next time they step it up. And everybody's
This was close enough to a loss to step it up. But I don't know if the young guns that we mentioned are going to have that leadership to blend together like Durant, LeBron, Curry. They had that leadership there. Any one of them guys could take over or, keep the young guys heads in the game or whatever, keep their focus. I don't know who those leaders are going to be going forward.
Oh, in 4 years, there's a
Booker and Edwards are going to be the veterans, but are they leaders? Are they good enough leaders like a Curry and LeBron?
We'll see. Only time will tell.
And Tatum's not going to play. Deuce got AAU trials.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, who will
emerge as the leader.
Yeah.
They put out 2028 early team out there, and I was just shocked at how many new faces are on there, and not how many holdovers were.
And the 2028 Olympics are in LA.
Yeah.
LA. They'll be playing in
the Lakers home court.
Yeah. So the crypto, whatever it's called.
Crypto arena.
So the Clippers. I don't know if you've seen.
Their new state of the art.
Their new state of the art, which opens up this year, is going to be transformed into swimming. Swimming. Wow. It's going to be the largest venue ever to hold a swimming meet for Olympics. It's going to hold.
So basketball staying at the Forum, even though they got everything.
Not the Forum. The Forum's been closed.
Or the Crypto
Center, whatever it's called. Crypto. Whatever.
That's still the same building.
No, not the Forum isn't the same building.
No, that's gone.
The Crypto's new?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they just renamed it.
No, the Forum is the one with the pillars. With the pillars. That's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Inglewood.
Yes. Well, actually, we passed it on our way going to SoFi Stadium.
Yep.
We passed it. It's a different color now. They painted a different color. It's very weird. Yeah, very weird. But yeah, it's going to be the largest event to ever hold a Olympic venue. there's going to be almost like 40,000 fans.
LA is a tremendous city to host the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, when I lived out there, it was.
They have a ton of venues.
Yeah.
Just think about all the colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about all the colleges that they have.
USC area, UC, it's just tremendous city to host things like this. And you can get everywhere you need to go just by public transportation. It's so accessible.
Yeah, the highways are too crowded to ride out there.
Yeah. So that this will take away the track and field, the women, it wasn't even close.
No.
What was it?
Four by,
Looking back at me.
Oh yeah, it was. They won by what? Almost 5 seconds.
yeah, Gabby Thomas.
Yeah.
I mean, that tremendous
Yeah.
lead. Oh my God.
Yeah. So as luck would have it, the medal count we were tied with China.
For the gold. Yeah, we
Oh,
blew away
yeah.
overall.
Oh, yeah,
We were tied
overall,
for the
yeah.
gold.
China is always up there when it comes to the gold medals.
Yes.
Their training is impeccable. Them, the Russians, usually the Germans. I didn't see the German. I thought they were out of the Olympics, so I thought maybe they boycotted because the Germans are usually up there at the top 4 overall medals every year. It's always us, Russia, Germany, China. Sometimes Japan, but I didn't see Japan do a lot, and I didn't see Germany do a lot this year. And Russia, of course, wasn't there.
Yeah. I something I would have liked to see what Russia put out there for a basketball team. I would have been interested.
Yeah.
I would have been interested to see. Obviously with war going on and sanctions that have been slapped on them, they're not allowed to, participate in the Olympics. But I would have just been, they always, it's always interesting.
Yeah.
It's always interesting. But I don't know if we'll ever.
That's another country where training, it's impeccable. Winning is everything.
Yeah.
And them guys, they train to be career ambassadors for their country.
Yeah.
You don't hear of a pro Russian player in a pro league over there. It's the pro league is their international game.
Yeah.
I would love to see football in the Olympics, but
Flag football is coming next
Flag
year
football.
that's
Flag football.
when they go to LA.
Yeah.
It's replacing breakdancing.
Oh Jesus, let's not talk about that. Last subject. Big fight this upcoming Saturday. The former champion who ran that division,
Israel
Adesanya is fighting the newly crowned champion, Duplessis. So they've got a guy in common.
Sean Strickland.
He is the link between them. Strickland beat Adesanya, who then became, who was then the champion, and then his although you said you've seen the fight, I didn't get a chance to see it. He ended up fighting against Duplessis, and he lost there.
He was declared the loser, but it was very close. But I think he did enough to win. And as the champion, I don't see how a close call goes to the challenger. Like, I didn't know who won at first. I wasn't 100%, but I felt like Strickland won. But we don't know how the judges score things, and that's why I hate when things go to decision, even though I think it's more honest in the UFC than if it was in boxing. Like, I was sitting there going, wow, what a good fight. I thought they might call it a draw, but I thought Strickland did enough to win, and especially being the champion, he would get the nudge. He lost the decision. When Strickland fought Israel Adesanya, he fought a 5-round. He won the decision, but he piled up the early rounds. Izzy started off too slow and gave away like the first 3 rounds. He came back in the 4th and 5th round, but you lost 3-2. You gave away. You weren't aggressive in that fight. They predicted that Israel Adesanya would knock him out. Remember, he was coming off the big defeat of Pereira. He had the momentum going, and they said he's going to knock out Strickland because Strickland's a brawler and Izzy's a great counterpuncher. So it just set up perfectly, but he took him for granted and he didn't stop fast. And he gave away like the first 2, and then the dude ended up winning the 3rd. So unless Israel knocked him out late, which in the 5th round, he's not as strong. He fought well, but he couldn't put him away. And he lost 3-2, but, Duplessis and him and Israel have bad blood. Israel said that he made. I remember he made some questionable remarks that are borderline racist. Duplessis, he's from South Africa.
Yeah, that's what Dana White said, that if Israel loses, they're gonna, the next middleweight fight will be in South Africa.
It will be, because they're developing those overseas. England's big for them. Ireland's big for them.
Yeah.
Dubai is big for them. But now South Africa has a chance to be big for them if they got a champion. Where did Australia's real huge because of some of their fighters they got over there now. And where does Israel fight out of? Is it Australia? Even though he's
outside?
Yeah, I think he calls Australia home. It's one of those. He doesn't call Africa home. He fights out of another country, and they've had fights over there because that's his home. And then they got the other guy he beat, Robert, whatever his name was, Whitaker, who fought out of Australia, light-skinned brother. But Israel fights out of another country, and they've had some fights. But my thing is, some of these world destinations are getting bigger money and bigger arenas than what you can get here in the United States.
Yeah,
so we're not seeing as many fights here in the United States anymore.
It's a money grab for the organization, and well, just look at what the Arabs are doing. They want to corner the market in all sports.
Everything, yeah.
Listen, if we can get a sport over here, we're paying the top. We're paying the the most money, top
What
dollar.
they did with golf.
Yeah. They want to do it, and at the end of the day, money talks. Money talks.
They're gonna do it. I don't know if they get involved in any of the TV networks, because that may be the next thing that they do.
Well,
but they got their own networks to telecast back to those countries. Like NBC has nothing to do with, unless they got an affiliate over in Abu Dhabi or something like that they work together. But I'm pretty sure they got. But then we have to worry about language barriers and all that stuff.
They got money.
I'm sure we'd send our own announcers over there.
They've got.
Let's just say citizens are millionaires. Just by the normal guy. Like you, I, and Steve, we would be millionaires just based on how the pay structure is in those countries.
There was an athlete that was over there recently, or a musician, and he said, well, how do I know who the poor people are? And they said, oh, the poor people, they're the ones driving the BMWs and Mercedes. Because they all got Ferraris, Lamborghinis. They said the poor people, they drive the BMWs, and they were like, are you kidding me? I'm one of the poor people?
The natural resources is paying every citizen in the country.
I want to say it was a boxer or a UFC person. They were like, everybody's got money over here. I don't see no poor people in Abu Dhabi. Not one person was poor. You don't see no homelessness, nothing. Everybody's well taken care of. And they said, so how do you know who the poor are? And they go, oh yeah, they're the ones driving. I thought that was hilarious, but it gives you some structure to understand, just how much money that whole area has.
Yeah. So yeah, it should be an interesting fight this upcoming Saturday. We'll see.
I think Izzy has something to prove.
Well, he ran through the division for
had to fight everybody twice.
3 years, 3+ years. So now, he's on the outside looking in.
Well, he lost to Pereira twice.
Yeah.
He finally got that win over him.
Yeah.
Now he's going to come back from another loss.
Yeah.
But he's never fought this guy before. But they've been going at it.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes for good sports this upcoming Saturday. So yeah, that takes us to the end of the show, and thanks for everybody joining in. And
just want to give a shout out to Quincy Wilson, 16-year-old.
Oh yeah, yes, we needed we skipped over him in the Olympics.
He set a record. He didn't do as good performance-wise, but to be there at 16.
Yeah, just to be in there.
The youngest ever.
16.
Track and field.
That's unheard of.
I've only seen the gymnast be that young.
Yeah.
Sometimes a swimmer.
No.
But I've never seen a track and field or basketball or boxer.
Typically, especially in
you're not
the
developed.
Olympics, yeah, you're not. Your muscular being and everything isn't fully developed. And let's face it, in running, you use all your muscles. You use all your muscles. And for someone to be that young, to be participating at that high level is crazy. So just think about it. His next Olympics, he's gonna be 20 years old. He's gonna be 20 years old.
He won a championship in Boston.
Right here. Yeah.
We didn't know. We weren't following high school track and field until this guy set national records and qualified for the Olympic team. He made us watch him. But they got the circuit for high school. We see the high school players, Cooper Flag and all them playing. They need to start showcasing the high school athletes in track and field because they're showing us they have the talent to compete on world levels.
Well, the crazy part is you'll be watching every step, every move he makes.
He makes, but there's another high school kid out there in Florida that this kid's from Maryland, but there's a kid in Florida in track and field that was pretty close to doing the same things he did, but he didn't go try out for the Olympic team.
Yeah, let's just hope he stays
I
safe.
bet you next year he does.
Stay safe.
Or next time he does.
Tough city.
Yeah, it is.
Tough area out there. But yes, thank you everybody. Thank you, Charlie, for sitting in for for sitting in for Derek Kahn.
Tiger. He was not a lion today.
Yeah, he's a cowardly lion.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you for stepping in as always. You step up to the plate. Greatly appreciated. And we have some public service announcements and stuff that we're doing. I'll let Steve lead off and talk about what we got going on as far as the comedy show.
Okay, well, the comedy show is getting close by now, Friday, September 13th. Hey, we've got a lot of interest. The last week and a half have been really good ticket-wise. You guys can get tickets online at WMB1.com or my personal number's on the flyer. I'll deliver tickets to you wherever you want. This is going to be a good show. What's different that I don't think a lot of people are taking under consideration, we have a 10-year-old comedian that tours the country. That's going to be different. You've never seen somebody 10 years old. It's a father-son team, Gerald Kelly and Hunter Kelly. Well, actually, Hunter just turned 11 this week. Happy birthday, Hunter.
Yes.
He just turned 11. You're going to be amazed at the level of professionalism that this kid can do. The other thing you're going to see, I didn't know at first, but this is going to be a clean comedy show that you won't even notice there's no swearing or anything like that. They all do clean comedy, but they're all so good with it. They don't like to bill themselves as clean comedy because people. So if you've never come out to one of our shows, this is going to be the perfect opportunity because it's going to be very funny from top to bottom. Chris Tabb, Hunter Kelly, Gerald Kelly, come get your laugh on. Call for tickets and go online at WMB1.com. But I think this is going to be one of the. If you've never made one, this is going to be one that's definitely worth the price of admission. You definitely don't want to miss this one.
Absolutely. That would be Friday,
September 13th.
No. Listen.
Friday the 13th.
Nothing to be worried about. We're not going to have anything but jokes and laughs.
Yeah.
So no need to worry. Go, like you said, go to WMB1.com or hit them up for tickets. He'll put on the Uber hat and deliver right to you. Also tomorrow, tap in Mags in the morning.
New.
I will be on live tomorrow, Mags in the morning. And I will be enlightening you about what's going on at the Lighthouse Tavern. We're trying something new over there. We're trying an afternoon, an evening wind down. Meaning you come, straight out of work, and you basically head on over there. You can do some networking. We're trying to get a lot of professionals in there. Come down, enjoy the atmosphere. Some great music, great food. They're going to have a full menu, including some Cape Verdean food and a tapas menu with drink specials. And come on down and enjoy it.
Charlie's personally sampled everything on the food menu down there.
I'm officially a fat guy, so I continue
Every time I go there, Charlie's having dinner.
sample food.
Yeah.
So it's all good.
So yeah, come on down and check it out. It's going to be from 5 to 9 p.m. tomorrow at the Lighthouse Tavern, located at 578 Brock Ave in the city South End. Come on down and check it out. You come on, like I said, come on down. You can try the food, have some alcoholic beverages, and chill out. Do some networking.
That's only part one of Lighthouse Tavern. What we got going on Saturday?
Saturday is a full day of events. So from 12 to 3, come on down. If you have any exotic vehicles in the way of motorcycles, slingshots, cars, Jeeps, come on down and show us what you got. It's Big Boys Toys. Come on down and showcase your exotic
Like a mini car and bike show.
yes, your exotic vehicles, whatever they are. 2 wheels, 3 wheels, 4 wheels. Bring them all down.
It's on my bucket list for
Pimped up
2025.
unicycles.
12 to 3. 12 to 3. While you're there, you can indulge in some good food, or you can just wait to the prime rib dinner. We got a prime rib dinner going on. $22 a plate.
Great
all
price.
being prepared by
Prime rib.
Dino Pius. So
Shout out to Dino.
come on down and have some great prime rib. If y'all don't know, Dino makes some great prime rib.
One of the best.
Makes some great prime rib. We had some. I actually put it on my page last year during one of the games. He made a prime rib for all the guys that were over the house. And let me tell you something, man. Some good stuff. So don't miss out on the opportunity. That'll be 3 o'clock until we sell out. But don't be late.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
It might sell out. All right. And then once that's done, we've got the summer vibes going on. 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Myself and DJ Nomad will be spinning on Saturday. So it's a full night, full day that goes right into the night. We'll start at 12 and we'll end at 2 a.m. Lighthouse Tavern, New Bedford's newest restaurant / entertainment spot now.
Doing it well.
So come on down, show some love, show some support. Gonna be there all day. It's gonna be a long list of things going on. All right. That's it. That's all we got.
Well, thank you guys. I think we had a very good show.
Thank you.
Some very informative topics. We'll see you shortly again because football season's right around the corner. So next show we'll preview another 2 divisions. And guys, check out those events. There's a lot of good events this weekend. So come down and check out that Thursday networking party. Let's see how that goes. That's something we want to keep around long term. Saturday is all day long. If you can't be there all day, there's something part of the day. The bike show, the car show, the prime rib, Brian DJing at night. All 3 of those are going to be good events all in one day.
Yep.
So shout out to Alan Correa, the Stevie Lobo, everybody down at Lighthouse Cafe. That's going to be the place to be, man. That's the new hotspot.
Share everything. Share it.
As well as listen, like, and follow
Yes.
WMB1 Radio.
Exactly.
All right.
Stay
Real
tuned.
simple.
A lot of things happening.
Real simple. All right. Until next week. Peace. We're out, and everybody have a blessed night. All right.
God bless.
Thanks for
Good
tuning in.
night.
I would like to introduce
Okay, let's go. Network's new online radio station. W10B Club Radio.